In my pitch to investors, I keep saying, now you've experienced the world as a person with disability, a disabling world for you, a world that is not adapted to you. I come to this as a video game guy with the rights to joy. And when I realized with my daughter that the entire system was about her survival and a medicine and what she should eat to grow, and never about pleasure and entertainment, and that's where I come from. Is my kid supposed to be bored an entire life? So I have this right to joy, which people discovered during the pandemic. Oh, no more concerts, no more cinema. You're supposed to stay at home, work, and be productive like a robot. No more right to joy. You come with a different concept from the world of disability. You know where I'm going at, so I'm going to let you say it and then explain it, because I feel like people have also lost that during the pandemic.
Which is, we've talked about many times, the term that's used, the dignity of risk. And sports provides that. Sports provides that. There's this mindset that somebody has a limitation, whether it's physical, they're missing limbs, they've spina bifida, CP, whatever it may be, or on the other side, that mental, what can be considered a limitation or a roadblock. And the dignity of risk is oftentimes removed because they're pulled into a safe area, they're protected and wrapped in a bubble. And the ones that I've seen really excel and thrive, the people are given that dignity of risk. They've got the parents that don't push the wheelchair for them all the time. If they're able to push up that hill, well, the parents let them go up that hill, even if they're a young kid, because they're building in that self-reliance, assurance, and dignity of risk in sports. And so that's one of the ideas, or one of the things that can be so powerful with the game, is that it shows that to everybody across the board. And same thing with the things we're doing at Alchemist Quest, the things that creating these adaptive sport education programs. So that, and even directed into the healthcare world, directed to the primary care physician, the pediatric physician who sees the kid very young. And instead of encouraging the parents to keep them safe and protected and back in the, checks up, and here's resources, here's things that they can get involved in, here's sports for them to participate in, and that changes everything. You know how sport works.
Yes. The first time you told me about the dignity of risk, it was pre-pandemic. It resonated with me the first time because of my daughter. When she was little, she suffered a lot, and it was the medical field struggled for a good year to find the right balance to feed her because of a congenital disorder condition. She has an orphan disease. I'm not going to enter into the details, but it was complicated to feed her. So she was very small, very tiny, very skinny, very thin. And then as we fed her better, as we figured it out, she started growing and become a little bit tougher, but she cannot really maintain herself or control her entire movement. As I started dancing with her and playing with her at age 3 or 4, her mother was over concerned, as if she was a little baby of 6 months. And even with a 6 months baby, I would say she would have been overprotective. And there was this notion of, oh, but watch out, she's fragile. And there is this reflex a lot by parents, or with disabled children, we tend to overprotect them because they are fragile. If you only have one leg, don't risk breaking that leg. But at the same time, is a life worth living without risking breaking your leg? And when I go back to my view of teenage, I would argue maybe not. And with my daughter, I started joking with my wife. Look, in video game, we observe analytics of user behavior. And in this particular case, the key performance indicator is that she's smiling or laughing. If when I dance and move her, she's smiling, I guess it doesn't hurt her. But that really taught me very viscerally that dignity of risk thing, that we have to let them try at the risk of failure, like the rest of us. We all fall.
Sure. Yep, and we all learn from it. I can share a story from my youth. This would go way back. So My dad pushed it more than he should have. I mean, more than people would say that he should have. You know, it was a different time. And if you're not aware, the way ALS works or muscular dystrophy works, you start off where the nerve innervations become sclerotic. They stop. I won't go into all the details, but you lose the ability to connect with your muscles. Your muscles atrophy, so you lose the ability to use your limbs. You stiffen. You lose the ability to breathe eventually. It's just all your muscles. You lose that nervous system connection with them. And as my dad was going through that process, we were doing adaptive sport before I knew what adaptive sport was. We were finding ways to play whatever, throwing those lawn darts from the 80s that have the big spike at the end of them, things like, we were going fishing. And I remember one time my father, we would help him through these things. He couldn't walk that well by himself, especially over terrain around a lake or something fishing, but loved to do it. It was great. My brother and I and my father, we'd go fishing. And one day my brother and I would get him set in a lawn chair so that he had his drink, he had his fishing pole. And one day he gets this big bite, gets this fish on here, and he immediately reacts to stand up as he would, but he didn't have that nervous system connection. So he topples over in the chair, rolls down the hill into the lake. And my brother and I, we slide down this hill, and we're kids at the time, and we pull him out of the lake. He's covered in mud and water. And if we weren't there, he would have had really no way to get himself out of there. We pull him out and we get out. But then we had a laugh about it. That's the dignity of risk. Do you think, yes, that was a crazy situation. It could have turned out bad, but he's there with his sons going fishing on, maybe that would be a limiting factor for somebody who didn't have that mindset of dignity of risk.